They call me Mellow, yeah. Oh, hi. So, V is for Van Helsing, which I remember being better than this was. Which that happens with older movies you watched and you think, okay, that was okay. But watching this back, honestly, it starts out okay. It's one of those. It starts out okay, and then it starts to show its... You start off in black and white with the Universal monsters, and I have some nitpicks. I know they're basing this off the book. Sort of. But one, they're in Transylvania. And it starts off with sort of Frankenstein, an homage to Frankenstein. They're in Transylvania. Frankenstein was in Germany. But they're connecting these universes together, so it has to be in Transylvania because Count Dracula is there. Okay. But also, Dr. Frankenstein's name is Victor. In the Universal monster movies, he was Henry Frankenstein. But they're going by the book for this one, so he's Victor. They actually switched Victor and Henry around, because there was another guy named Henry in a novel that was switched to Victor in the movie, and then Victor was switched to Henry. But here it's Victor, and you have Frankenstein. In the 1880s, I think it was. And they created the Frankenstein's monster, which they wrongly call Frankenstein. This is Universal. You should know the name of the monster. And Dr. Frankenstein is killed, and the windmill is burned down, leaving the monster underneath. And we go to 1 year later, we have Van Helsing traipsing around Paris after Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde has got a hole in his arm from something you can find out all about if you watch the animated prequel, Van Helsing, the London Mission or something like that, the London Assignment. There's also like a comic book thing or something. I don't know. But yeah. And honestly, this is also a decent fight, albeit a little too CG, but it's fine. It's decent. So then he goes back, and we get this James Bond MI6 Vatican thing. He goes to the Vatican where he meets the guy from The Mummy 2, from The Mummy Returns. By the way, Stephen Sommers directed this, so you have Benny playing Igor, which is another thing, and I understand why they did it, but Igor was never Dr. Frankenstein's assistant. He was the assistant to Dr. Frankenstein's son, or grandson. Son of Frankenstein, I think. I think he was played by Bela Lugosi, right? His assistant in the original film was Carl. But because they have a friar named Carl, they can't call him that, so he's Igor, right? Right. So, yes, he goes to the MI6 Vatican edition, and there he meets his Q, Friar Carl, who keeps reminding you that he's not a monk, he's a friar, so he can swear and have sex, as we find out later, which I think would... swearing not so much, but having sex would kind of sully his addition to being a monk, I think. But who knows? But Carl gives him some gizmos and gadgets, such as a metal stake. It has to be wood. Metal doesn't work. Just saying. Confines of this movie, it doesn't work anyway, because apparently Dracula doesn't have a heart, and the only thing that can kill him is a werewolf bite, which is bullshit, but, you know. Yes. So yeah, he gives him a metal stake, which wouldn't work anyway, because it has to be wood. I know a lot of iterations say, anything sharp, you can stab through the heart. No. I've seen enough, I've read enough stuff, I've seen enough of the stuff covered that is wood, okay? It has to be wood. I'm just saying. But anyway, in holy water and this thing, which doesn't come into play, because I watched, I don't remember seeing it in the movie, and they just, does it? maybe to kill the brides, maybe later. I don't remember. But yes, and so he is sent to Transylvania to find Princess Anna. And before you make a Frozen reference, shut up. But anyway, but yes, he does cross snowy terrain to find Princess Anna. I'm not going there. And it turns out she is one of 2 survivors of a family that, if Dracula is not slayed before they die, then their family will never find tranquility in heaven or something. I don't know. But her brother is supposedly killed after trying to use himself for bait. That's smart. But it turns out he's not dead. He's just a vampire, or a werewolf, which, okay, how does that work? But he's a werewolf. And then Van Helsing fights off the brides of Dracula. And I'm going to correct something. I watched the Nostalgia Critics review for this. In this and his first viewing, he gets it wrong. He claims that she's going, do you like to fly? No! If you pay fucking attention, she's saying, do you like to fly, Anna? I mean, I've rewound that scene 3 times watching the movie, and he rewinds it. She's saying Anna. It's plain as the nose on my face that she's saying that. I don't know how you can misinterpret that. And yeah, the brides do fly around naked, and I remember singing when I first saw it, like, oh, but there's no nipples, so it's okay. And my mom said, my sister, okay, so for you Yu-Gi-Oh fans, the Harpy Lady card. My sister freaked out when I pulled it out of a pack. She's like, you can see your boobies. My mom's like, it's okay, there's no nipples. It's a card. It's a kid's card. I don't know. But, yes. And, okay, so I'm going to point out here the biggest problem with this. There is very limited character development, and Summers was more concerned with throwing action scenes at you, because there's way more action scenes with bad CGI, I might add, thrown at you in this film than there is character development. You get some character development, but the character development you need most is a relationship between our main character and the love interest, and we don't get that. We don't know anything about her really, other than her family needs to find tranquility in heaven, and she has a dead dad and a brother who's a werewolf. That's it. And for Van Helsing, we do find out about him, but it's... And they changed his name for this, and I'm waiting till the twist, because... So, Carl has sex with the women because he saved them. And I did laugh because, okay, my favorite character in this film is Carl, okay? He's the best character in this film because we get a lot of him, and he has the most character development. He has the most, that he is training to be a monk, but he's not a monk yet. He's a friar. He doesn't like confrontation, and he doesn't like being forced into doing this stuff. And he loves the women, like Bobby Lashley. He loves them women. So yeah, and when he saves the girls, she's like, how can we ever thank you? And he's like, you can't do that. You're a monk. You're a monk. You can't do that. And he's like, I'm only a friar. And they're like, I'm like, no. He just asked for sexual favors from you. Isn't that almost like forcing himself on you? It's 1800s. Maybe it was more customary to do that. I don't know. But, yes. So, Anna and Van Helsing track down Dracula. They find the Frankenstein monster in the windmill in Transylvania. Should be in Germany, but okay. And they find out that the Frankenstein monster is the key to Dracula's plan to hook him up and use the electricity to awaken his vampire babies, apparently. And Van Helsing won't kill him because he doesn't have an evil heart. Two things. One, if the Frankenstein monster was the key, why did Dracula leave him behind? I mean, you could say he thought he was dead, but come on. Dracula's not that stupid. It's a plot point. They need him. They need to have all these things lined up. So obviously they have to write Van Helsing finding him and taking him, because if Dracula had him the entire film, it would be over in 5 minutes. So we have to save that for the end. 2, he won't kill the monster because he doesn't have evil in his heart. What about Hyde? Dr. Jekyll doesn't have evil in his heart. At least not this version. The Page Master version was all over the place. But Jekyll was an innocent man. He created a potion, man. And you killed him. There was no evil in his heart. Hyde maybe, but maybe it was too late. Maybe he killed Hyde because there was evil in his heart. But then when Jekyll died, he sensed that there was no evil in his heart. And he was like, oh, my bad, I fucked up. Who knows? So they take the Frankenstein monster to Dracula, because that makes sense. And he hooks it up and he frees his creatures. We have a confrontation. It's been 400 years or something. He's like, you don't remember. By the way, Van Helsing has amnesia. Hugh Jackman playing a character with amnesia? No. Never heard of that before. No, not at all. But anyway, so, Van Helsing is apparently a werewolf too, which is what Friar Carl saw in his, after he got done with the woman. It was one woman, right? One woman. There's only one there, but after he got done with her, you know, the next morning he sees this painting come to life with 2 knights. One's a vampire, one's a werewolf, and they fight each other. And so they find out that a werewolf's bite is the only thing that can kill Dracula. Because they stake him and it doesn't work, and I was sitting there going, yeah, because it's not wood, and they're going to fight and he's going to go into some wood, right? And it's going to kill him. I forgot about the werewolf bite. And yes. And we find out the twist. So, I refrained from telling you Van Helsing's full name in this. For a reason. Because if I told you, it'd be easy to figure out. Van Helsing's full name is Gabriel Van Helsing. Not Abraham Van Helsing, but Gabriel Van Helsing. Because he is the Archangel Gabriel who killed Dracula before, when he was human or something, I don't know, and was banished to Earth and had his memory erased. But they fought 400 years earlier. How long ago was he sent to Earth? Has he lived for 400 years and not realized that he couldn't die? I don't know, but he's able to defeat Dracula, but not before Dracula, kills Anna, and she dies after Dracula dies. So her family is in heaven, all happy, and we get no monologue. There's more monologuing from Dracula in this. Richard Roxburgh, he has this monologuing to the ceiling or some shit like that. I don't know. Literally, he's telling his story about their battle, and he's talking up like this. Like, who are you talking to? There's no one up there. the ceiling, the sky, heaven. I don't know who he's talking to, but yes. And so Van Helsing and Carl walk off into the sunset, or the gloom set, because this movie is like some puked on it, but movie ends. The one thing I can say for this film, and it's almost as if like it doesn't belong in this film, is the film score by Alan Silvestri. Because that man, I've never heard any bad score from him, and it's fantastic, and it almost doesn't fit with this film. you could say it doesn't fit with this film. It's so grand and powerful that it just doesn't seem to fit with this film. But it is great. But I don't know. I went in thinking this could be a middle of the road. And honestly, it most likely is. I'm going to give Van Helsing a middle of the road. I don't think... See, I don't think it's worse than I Know Who Killed Me. So I can't put it in that category. Because I would watch this over I Know Who Killed Me again. But, yeah, so I'm going to say it's a middle of the road. Alright, so what are your thoughts on Van Helsing? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We are winding down on this, man. We got 5 more movies to go. And I'm done with this. Trying to get this done by the weekend so I can start another review series, a different, or basically continuing a review series I started, but I didn't have the rest till now. But yeah, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.